the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle at the 15, to the 20, breaks free, the 25 to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown, Bears! For the third time in 6 seasons, it's one goal achieved. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome, Shawn and Maya in the morning on this Hump Day edition. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Come on, man. Go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to the show's page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning, like that page as well. So not only will you be following Sports Zone Chicago, but you'll be following Shawn and Maya in the morning as well. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, man. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button. All right, do me a favor. Click the subscribe button. You get it? Got it? Come on, baby. Do it like that. Come on, baby. I need it. I need it. I want it. click the subscribe button. I can't even speak this morning. Wow. Click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell right next to it. And that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, if you're watching this on our mobile app, yay. And please don't tell me to know we had a mobile app. Come on, man. What's wrong with you? Listen, we have a mobile app. So if you wouldn't mind, do us a favor. Do us a solid, yeah? All right. Go to wherever you get your apps from. It doesn't matter where you get your apps from, okay? Go there. Type in Sports Zone Chicago. Download it. Take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, and not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew, and I mean a slew of articles, thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. Now, if you're watching this on Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Sports Zone Chicago, we have our own Roku channel. Okay, so if you have a Roku television in the house, do us a favor. Download Sports Zone Chicago's channel right to your television. Do it. Do it. Put it right there next to the big boys. All right? HBO, Netflix, Hulu, Max, Prime, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Stars. Man, speaking of Stars, man, when are they going to have Power Book 3 and Power Book 4 the next season? Because I'm going through some power withdrawals right about now, and I'm a little bothered about it. I'm bothered, baby. I'm bothered. Oh man, but yeah, I need some power in my life. Since they finished Power Book 2, Ghost. Yeah. So, but I digress. Put us there. Download us to your TV set, your TV screen, or your smart TV, and watch us on a big screen. Hell, run a big screen, right, Mickey? Vicky, now. You can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy, that's CHI, at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online, you want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. All right. We have a great show, but I need you to get interactive. So listen, whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or our mobile app, you have a question or comment on that platform, it'll come up here in the thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. That's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. I like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Just bring it. Let me see what's going on in the chat, because the chat is jumping already, and I like it. I like it a lot. Shawn Walls in the Mickey Ficky house. What's up, Papa? I said good morning on a hump day and Sox named new skipper. Yeah, we saw that, baby. We'll talk about that, of course. Cornelius Squalls in the house. What up, what up, what up? Man, that loss still hurts. I know. Levette Lee says, happy hump day, y'all. Levette, thanks for tuning in, mommy. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Man, Armando Emeterio Lara Jr., he's in the house. What's up, Papa? Thank you so much for tuning in. Plank's checking in. Good morning, Plankster. He says, good morning, Sports Owner Shawn. Bear down. Bear the freak down, baby. I like it. I like that kind of party. Yes. Hey, I might get the same TV you got on Sunday. Do it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Hisense is called Hisense. Hisense. That was the brand. And the guy, and when I was talking to the guy, he said that's mid-tier. He goes, it's not like Sony or Samsung. Those are the upper tier, and they're a lot more expensive. So, but he said Vizio and Hisense, that's the middle tier, and they're pretty good. I was like, all right, cool, man, cool. What? Don't do it. What are you doing? What do you mean? You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. You're killing me. Huh. Interesting. Oh, she's like, LOL. Well, no, we'll see. For those of you that know, my TV went out. I had a Philips TV. All right. And wasn't that old. I guess I should have checked if I had a warranty. I know I got a warranty on this one, that's for sure. But it went out. It went out Sunday. And man, that was a son of a gun. It went out. Luckily, the game was at 3. I got up around noon, and TV wasn't on. The thing is, you can hear the audio, but there was no picture. I was like, what the fudge crackers? So I tried, and it's like, man, there's nothing else to do, but I got to go get another TV. So I went to go get another TV at Walmart because I'd seen some decent ones at Walmart. And it took a little bit. And I couldn't put it in my truck. It was too wide. It's going to hatchback. So I had to take it out of the box, put it in by itself or without the box. Took out it. I get home. It wasn't very difficult to set up. Just a couple of HDMI cords, set a cable, and then the source. I mean the power source. So just plug in 2 things for all intents and purposes. And the screen was cracked. So I had to unplug all those 2 plugs and fit it back into my truck because I didn't take the stand off. I was like, no, I'm not. I had to put it back in my truck, drove back to Walmart. I had to get help. So I pulled up right next to it, put it in it's like a designated area between the doors. I left my hazards on. I went inside to the customer service, waited about 10 minutes in line. She's like, oh, you got to go get the TV. I was like, I need help. So sure enough, they got some people to help me. I got a new one, same TV. Then I went back and set it up, and I missed about the first 2 series, the Bears and the Commanders' first series. I missed. But man, that was crazy, crazy, crazy. My goodness. So, yeah. Yeah, it does. I don't know how long the warranty was, though, Shawn. I don't. And that was my problem. That's my fault. Bad move on my part, not knowing how long the warranty was, and also not getting buy an extra warranty because I bought it's a 4-year warranty for this TV. But let me tell you something. What size TVs do you guys have? because I had a 65-inch. And then I said, you know what, bump it. The 75-inch was only $50, $60 more. I'm like, bump it. So I got the 75-inch. Dude, I feel like I'm in a goddamn huddle. That thing is huge. And I don't sit close to the TV like I'm on the other side of the room or halfway across the room in the living room, and I still feel like I'm in the huddle. I felt like saying, Caleb, on one. Dude, that was crazy. What size TVs do you guys have? King Booker World checking in. He says, salute, chat and Shawn. What's up, King Booker World? But Shawn said, I have a 40-inch TV in my bedroom. Yeah, 40 is good for a bedroom. That's good. Depending how long or the distance, it is from your bed. But 40 is a good size for a TV for a bedroom. What other size? What other? Or who else? What size do you got? What size TV do you have in your guys in the living room for you guys? The main TV that you watch. Because I'm telling you, man, that 75-inch ain't no joke, man. Whew. And it's HD too. Like, man, you can see the makeup. I can see the makeup on the newscasters. Like, damn. King Booker Will says, I'm broke, so I have a 32-inch. When I get rich, I'm going to get a size TV called The Wall. The Wall. Hey, bro, listen. They are very, very, very inexpensive at Walmart. And like I said, they have Samsung and Sony. They don't sell Sony. They have Samsung, which is the top of the line. Samsung and Sony are the top of the line. But the mid-tier, like Vizio and Hisense, those are good. And that's why I didn't feel like getting a Samsung. But yeah. So I got the Hisense. I've had Vizios before. Aunt Moss checking in. He said, bear down, Shawn. Good morning, Aunt Moss. Thank you, Papa. Thank you for tuning in. Shawn says, my family had a 55-inch in the living room. Cornelius says, I have a 55-inch, but if you feel like you're in the huddle, I have to upgrade. I'm telling you, bro, that is crazy. And also, depending on how close you sit, because like I said, I sit halfway across the living room on my, the couch. So it's a good 10 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet away. I'm trying to look at the wall. Yeah, a good 10 feet away. 8 to 10. And man, it looks huge. It's nutso. Mr. Shorty checking in. What's up, Papa? He says, ugh, can I pull my head out of the sand yet? I hear you, bro. I hear you. I got some texts from some people across the country. Yesterday, some friends asked me how I'm doing. Levette Lee, she has a 32-inch TV. Okay. Armando, my man Junior, you got a 50-inch TV. Dude, if you get a 75-inch TV, bro, I've been to your house. Like, there's not a lot of space between you, the couch and the wall. Like, it's a long, narrow living room. Bro, you're gonna be like, dude, it's dope. I'll tell you what, it's dope. It is dope. I'll tell you that. Oh man. But enough about that. Man, we got a great show for you at 10 o'clock at the top of the hour. My man Ken Davis is going to join us. We're going to continue this Bears talk. And there's a lot going on. A lot going on with the Bears. Man, players are starting to speak out, and I'll tell you what, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. Bashan says, have you heard of 90-inch TV? No, they had an 86 at Walmart as well. They had an 86. I was in Costco yesterday or 2 days ago, and they had a 94, I want to say. Yeah, so I've seen those. Those are nuts. And one of them was, I think they had 100 inch, and that was like 2,500. I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting 100. Not for the size place that I have now. Mm-mm. That would be for like when I get my next house in the basement, the entertainment room. That's where the 100 inch would go. Emma says, just get a projector. I've seen some of those. I was at Best Buy, and some of those are nice. Some of those are nice. It projects right on the wall. It's like a stand. It looks like a nightstand, not a nightstand, but looks like a stand. And the projector is like it's on top of it, but like it's sunk in, and it projects out onto the wall. It's not too far. Man, it's sharp. So I've seen those, Aunt Moss. I've seen those, man. Whoo. Yeah. Mr. Shorty says rinse and repeat. Fox, Nagy, now Flus, all ruining a year of quarterback development. Next. Shawn says 100-inch TV might be too big in my family home. I hear it, bro. 100-inch TV is 100-inch screen is, man. I tell you, that's got to be in like a family room. I mean, that's got to be in like an entertainment room. You know, if you have like a basement, a man cave where you have space, you have a lot of people watching. Man. Aunt Ma said, we have a problem hiring a good guy coach. Iron Mike put a bad taste in the owner's mouth. Can't control them, but they are the best. The Bears aren't the only problem with the only team that's following that model. Reinsdorf and crew, they're doing it on both sides. On the west side with the bullies, on the south side with their new manager that we're going to talk about in a little bit. See, the problem is, and here's the issue. They want guys they can control. They don't like being embarrassed, which is why, remember, if you heard, there was no swearing on Hard Knocks with the Bears, none. Like, really? Like, all football teams swear. Come on. Almost all of them. One of the only coaches that I've ever had. I think I heard him swear once. I think he said ass. He said ass. Was Coach Duffner at Holy Cross. Never. Ass was the worst thing I had ever heard in 3 years of having him as my head coach. Ass. All my other coaches. Coach Quinn and Coach Schaller, God rest their souls. I love them. Hell yeah, they would curse at us in practice. We were kids, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. We didn't complain. They cursed at us in practice. Sometimes at the game. Parents are still there. They didn't care. Because you know what? They're building men. And most of us are successful men because of the coaching we had and that extra father figure. But I digress. Coach Angston, whew, yes. Coach Angston in the weight room, practice at St. Rita. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So they want people they can control. And that seems to be a problem. Oh, man. You know, there's just so much. Okay. We'll do that. You know, there's so much sorry. There's so much going around social media, making jokes about some people. Who's the presidential candidate, or they're in the rally. in Texas, I think they mentioned the Bears losing. Yeah, it's frustrating. Man. King Book World, some of the shit my coaches yell at us with them sensitivity training on the daily now. Yeah. My optimism is gone. I feel dead inside. Well, see, don't do that. Don't do that. All right. Don't swing with the emotions like that. All right, we just came off a 3-game. We had a 3-game win streak. All right, let's not forget that. It's difficult to do in the NFL. And it doesn't matter who the teams were. Okay, if they're strong or not. Any given Sunday. 3 weeks in a row is good. Don't be that fan. They had one bad game, and it's a bad game. It's a bad loss. There's no way to sugarcoat it, no way to go around it, and I'm not going to. They didn't forget how to play football. They didn't forget how to coach football. They didn't forget how to call good plays. They had a bad day at the office. Okay? It was across the board. And here's the positive note. Shorty says, sorry, Shawn, but the bottom line is we have the worst coach in the division and one of the worst in the league. I think I could agree with you there. I don't know about the league, but we might have one of the worst head coaches in the division. Campbell got his guys going crazy. LaFleur, great play caller. They're going to do something. And McDonald, or Kevin O'Connell, excuse me. But let me tell you something. You can sit there and be on that side of gloom and doom, or you can sit there and say, hey, shit, Caleb took us down and scored. When we needed to score in the fourth quarter, Caleb took us down and scored to give us the lead. Under a minute to go. When was the last time that happened? In the fourth quarter, we needed a touchdown. We went down, scored a touchdown, under a minute to go. If you look, Caleb has done a good job of leading scoring drives at the end of quarters, at the end of halves as well. Okay, we need a field goal, boom. 2 or 3 times he's done that. Kid's only played in 7 games? All right, kid's only played in 7 games, and he's come back and he led scoring drives at the end of halves twice. It would have been a game-winning scoring drive Sunday if it wasn't for the silliness of some people on the defensive side of the ball and the head coach. That would have been 3 games that he scored at the end of half or a game. But 7 games in, he led the team would have led the team to a game-winning victory with 25 seconds to go. I think he got something there. Okay, so you can sit there and look at and be down and in the. You can be a negative Nancy if you want, but look at the positives. There are some silver linings in this cloud. And it's a big ass dark cloud. I hear you, but you have to don't see now. You're saying 3 road wins. Okay, I understand. But what was the situation his first year? Okay. Situation his second year. Okay. His first year, they tore the fence. Had a 14-game losing streak. Don't worry, they'll remember I said the worst that I could say I would be okay with would be 6-3. And they have the chance to go 6-3. They're going to Arizona on Sunday. And then they're coming home for the Patriots before they welcome the Packers. They can still finish 6-3. If you finish 6-3 and you split those last 8 games, you're 10-7. You're 10-7, and unfortunately that might leave you out of the playoffs, but you can't go wrong if you have double-digit wins. Remember I said Remember I said you have to improve from last year. The Justin Fields led Chicago Bears won 7 games last year. You got to have 10. And they're on track for that. Yeah, Eberflus Folsey's under pressure. He's got to have a guy. Who's his guy? See, that's part of the issue. Who's your guy? Who's the next up-and-coming guy in your team? Like even your defensive coordinator. Like Eric Washington, get in his ear. You've been a defensive coordinator before. You know you've been in situations like this, and now the pressure's not on you. You know how easy it is to make the right call when the pressure's not on you? You know how easy it is? We all been in that situation. We've all been in situations where we had a superior above us, and we know what the right thing to do is, and they made the right call or they didn't make the right call. And like if they didn't make the right call, you're like, I would have done it different. How can you not see that? How can you not see that? We've all had that situation, right? Now I sound like Coach Eberflus, right? Right? We've all been in that situation. So Eric Washington has got to, and maybe he is, and maybe Eberflus isn't listening. I don't know. But you got to have a guy say, hey, Coach, here's what you do. Coach, do this. Coach, time out. Coach, time out. We're not ready. Coach, Stevenson's over there jagging around. Time out. Call timeout, Coach. You got to have that leeway. He's got to have somebody he trusts. Who's that guy? Is it Washington? I don't know. I would hope it would be. Shorty says, thanks, Shawn. I usually am. You're right. Now with the optimism, I need this. Okay, good. Junior says we're having a Shorty intervention show today. There are a lot of good things that came out of this. Let's not get it twisted. Don't let the fact that they lost cloud it. Don't let it. It's easy, especially the way they lost. It's easy, but man, don't let what happened cloud the good stuff. You're saying, well, what good stuff was there? The freaking long touchdown run by DeAndre Swift. He's gotten better and better after the first 3 games. He's averaging 5.4 yards a carry, over 5 yards a carry. Come on now. If you don't think that's good, I don't know what to tell you. I mentioned Caleb leading. That would have been a game-winning touchdown drive if it wasn't for the last 25 seconds. So whenever there's pressure on, at the end of half, at the end of games, it seems like Caleb doesn't think as much. It seems like Caleb is in his element. It seems like Caleb is more comfortable in those situations. Having a quarterback comfortable in those at the end of game, end of half, and end of game situations is a huge, huge advantage. Huge. Cornelius says Caleb was shaky at the start, but he finished like a franchise quarterback. Yes, he was horrible. He had like 30-something yards in the third quarter, 30-something passing yards, and he ended up throwing for over 100 yards in the fourth quarter. That's what we want. Isn't that what people bitch and moan about? We don't have a quarterback. We don't have a game. We don't have a franchise quarterback. We don't have this. We don't have a guy who can take us back and lead us to victory. We don't have that. We don't have. Oh, Justice numbers in the fourth quarter were crap. This is everyone's complaining about everything about the fourth quarter. Now you get a guy who takes you down to win, and you overlook it because the team lost. The defense screwed up. The coach screwed up. The offense didn't screw up in that fourth quarter. The defense did their job the first 3.5 quarters, keeping them to field goals. The offense, the NFL's number 1 ranked offense, they kept them to field goals. They only scored 18 points, and the only reason they got 18 was because of the Hail Mary. It would have been 12. They held the NFL's number 1 offense to 12 points minus that last play. And the offense couldn't get it going. They got it going in the fourth quarter. Caleb takes him down for the lead with 25 seconds to go. So there's definitely some positives, some really strong positives. So let's not get all Chicken Little on us now. The sky's falling. No, it's a bad game. Now here's the thing. Don't let Washington beat us twice. Coach Eberflus cannot allow that to happen. And it's consistent with what some of the people said. And I'll tell you about the issue I'm having afterwards. But you know what? We got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we got to go to our first segment. You know how we do, top of the morning topic. We got to do that. All right, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Move it!
Many will hear the calling. Few will earn the title. United States Marine. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings.
I have my dogs. They're the best.
I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
Quarter and right at the end here.
To Swift. Look at Swift. Take it to the Washington side of the 50. Down the sideline he goes, and he's galloping home for the game's first touchdown.
There's your Devin Hester moment. You're only 2 plays off. Who had a little struggle earlier, but I want you to watch the left tackle. Magaji right here. He's going to pull outside and go and get the corner safety and take out with his legs. Shin, the other safety. That was outstanding and couldn't have come at a better time for Chicago fans. Washington now, fans are a little bit like, come on, we've been dominating this game.
You know, we were talking to Shane Waldron, their offensive coordinator, and spent a lot of time in Seattle. He knew he was going to go against the guy he saw all the time, Bobby Wagner, back in the day in practice when they were on opposite ends on the Seahawks.
Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of CBS. And you know what? Let me tell you something. As rough a game as Kieran Amagaji had, that was a huge, huge, huge block. That was a huge block. You know? Because he got two guys, and it was awesome. He actually leg whipped a guy. It's legal, but he didn't do it on purpose. So he hit one of the safeties, and as he goes down to get him, he goes down, he flies over, his legs fly back, and here comes the other safety right into his legs. And you saw the dude flipping as DeAndre Swift was running down the sideline. He knocked out two birds with one block. Oh, man. So great job. And I know he had a problem. Okay. I know he had a problem. But, you know, for him, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Remember, everyone was so high, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm like, the kid went to Yale. All right. And believe me, that's the 1AA. Or it's FCS, but it's 1AA. All right. And that's the level I played. And my only two losses, my first 3 years with Coach Duffner. Remember, my first 3 years at Holy Cross, we had 30 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie. Okay. My only 2 losses were my freshman and sophomore year, the Army, a 1A school. And let me tell you, the difference of athlete, and Army's not even a big program. The difference in size of athlete from 1A to 1AA is night and day. Is night and day. So it's his level. It's probably overwhelming because you face guys at practice. Of course, you have guys at practice, but as you start to adjust to those guys, okay. When you're facing guys that and remember, he didn't play. So he didn't get all training camp reps. He didn't get the joint practices. He didn't get the preseason games in, nothing. So he's coming in and they don't practice hard, not during the season. So hopefully he gets better, but you could definitely see the difference and the problems that he's going to have initially. But I digress. Guys, let's get to it, guys. You know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
Let's see, the first top of the morning topic is where do we go? Which way do we go? Which way do we go? Here we go. We'll start this way. The Bulls host the Orlando Magic tonight at the United Center. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock Central. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Network if you have. As long as you don't have Comcast, you can. Or you can listen to it on their flagship station, 670 AM. You know what's really funny? This is really, really, really funny. Usher is at the United Center. Usher was there last night. And he's there tomorrow. I actually might go tomorrow. We'll see if my guy can get me tickets. I'll probably go tomorrow to the Usher concert on Halloween. But it's crazy how you got Usher last night. So the crews are working overnight, dismantling the stage because the stage was big. So I saw a friend of mine or someone on my timeline was there last night, and the stage was kind of like in the middle of the floor, and he was roller skating around because that's his thing. Like his residency in Vegas, like he was on roller skates a lot. So they had to so it's a long stage. So they had to dismantle that right after the Bulls game. I'm sorry, they had to dismantle that last night right after the concert. Get ready for the Bulls game tonight. And then immediately after the Bulls game, they got to dismantle the court and put that stage back up because he's going to be performing tomorrow. That's nutso. Crazy. But I digress. The Bulls are looking for another home win, man. I'm excited about this team. I like this team. Like I said, they might not be a good team or a great team, but they're going to be fun and exciting. Sticking with the Bulls, the next top of the morning topic, Lonzo Ball. My goodness, man. Fudge crackers. Lonzo Ball suffered a wrist strain in Monday's game, and he will be out at least 10 days. Man, I don't even know what to tell you, bro. I don't even know what to tell you, my peoples. You talk about frustrating. And Billy Donovan just started playing him and Giddey at the same time. He had a big win the other night in Memphis. And then he's out. The next top of the morning topic, the Blackhawks travel to the left coast. Travel to San Jose for a matchup with the San Jose Sharks. Puck drop tomorrow is at 9:03 Central Time. Remember, it's late because we're on the West Coast. It's 7 o'clock there. It's 9 o'clock over here. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Network if you have it, or you can listen to it on their flagship station, 7:20 a.m. You know, one of the things that shish kebab. So here's what I was hearing. Okay, here's what I was hearing. Hold on, where are you at? There we go. So, according to our guy Lawrence Holmes, here's what you're going to see on here's what he is hearing on the app. Now they're holding off the app until they get a deal. They're trying to get a deal with Comcast. They just got a deal with Tubo, but they want it with Comcast. According to Lawrence, he said it should be available before Thanksgiving. So we have a month, 30, a little less than a month. So it's going to be $19.99 per month per team. Bulls, Sox, Blackhawks. $60. But wait. Or to be $30 a month for all three. All right. So you pay $20 for one per team per month. So if you wanted to get two teams, like it doesn't make sense for you to get two teams. You might as well get them all. This is for the app. $19.99 per month. For one team. Or $30 for a month for all three. It's like it doesn't make any sense. You can go $40 a month because you don't like the Blackhawks. Maybe you don't want the Sox. You're a Bulls and Hawks guy. Okay, great. You're gonna pay $40. You can just end up paying $30. Just end this on GP alone. It's only $30. It's crazy. So this is what, or there's more, or $300 per year for all of them. And you're thinking, okay. So it makes sense. Or I'm trying to get this up so you guys can see it. year. And that would make, and here's the crazy part. This is why I have a problem with Reinsdorf. There's a lot of teams that have this shit for free. You talk about making money. They're making money because you know how apps make money? Apps make money off of commercials, just like TV and a podcast, off of commercials, sponsors. So not only are they charging you to watch it, but they're also charging advertisers. So they're double dipping. So if this doesn't piss you off, I don't know what does, because there's a whole bunch of other regional sports networks that you can watch their games for free on their specific app. This is some crazy shit. That's some that's some bullshit. All right, and then people wonder why the common folk is mad at the rich folk. See, there's Chicago Sports Network app prices, $19.99 a month per team. $29 a month for all three teams, or $300 a year for all teams for the whole year. Because if you go $30 a month, that's $360 if you pay month by month. But if you pay $300, probably a one-time deal, $300. They should make it like $150. You can break it up into 2 months. But no, they're not like that. That's jag-baggish, real jag-baggish. Like, who the hell wants to pay $300 to watch the Bulls and the Sox? Speaking of the White Sox, the next topic, the one topic, the White Sox. According to Jeff Passan and Scott Merkin, two big boys in the industry, the White Sox are scheduled to hire Will Venable as their next manager. Announcement can't be official because the World Series is going on and no baseball news can supersede the World Series until it's over. Not that this news is going to rock the baseball world or anything, but that's just a Major League Baseball rule. Some people are happy. He was a bench coach with the Cubs recently. He was with the Rangers last year. Some people like it. Some people don't. I don't know a lot about him to make a decision one way or the other. I got to go do some more research on him, because this came across last night, like 10 o'clock, 10:15. See what we got here in the thread. DC, Derek Carter checking in. What's up, Papa? How are you? Thank you for tuning in. Shorty's like, I just so badly wanted this to be our time, our national quarterback love, our miracle wins. But see, to have a miracle win, you gotta have the ability to score late to win, and we did. So, do you honestly think? Sit back, relax, take your feelings out of it. Do you honestly think that our defense is going to give up late scores with under a minute to go again? Do you think that's going to happen to our defense again? At all? The remaining 10 games, do you think our defense will give up a touchdown? And that was the only touchdown they gave up in the game. Do you think they're going to give up a touchdown under a minute to go, with less than a minute to go when that drive starts? Do you think they're going to do that? I don't. King Booker Wilson, I don't blame Kieran at all. Coaching has to help the rook on that line. Yeah, I agree. DC says, I'm at the point It doesn't matter what the Bears do. We need to change the head coach. Am I overreacting? Yeah. But you know what? No. Let me say this. No. You're not overreacting. Let me take that back. You're not overreacting, DC. All right? Because there's more than enough instances where you can say, man, some coaching decisions are not good. It doesn't mean he can't get better, but some coaching decisions have been poor. Okay? The 2 losses last year. We were up, 14, 17 points in the fourth quarter. 2 losses. We had a 97% chance of winning in the fourth quarter, and we lost. This past Sunday, his lack of awareness, lack of use of timeouts. There's room. You're not overreacting, DC. No. But up until Sunday, he hadn't lost that locker room. I don't say he's lost it. I say he's losing it. And like I told you before, a lot's going to happen. A lot is going to be seen about how this team responds to Coach Eberflus, especially with the Tyreek Stevenson situation. You know, in his presser, here's the issue. Here's the issue most people have. Here's the issue that most people have. You see people taking accountability. You saw Kramer saying it was my fault. I screwed up the handoff. It bounced. I didn't get it. Okay. You see other people saying, hey, I missed my block. Caleb, hey, I got to get better. I missed a couple people that I usually don't miss. You see all these people taking accountability of the stuff that they did wrong, and they should. They did do wrong. They take accountability. What does Eberflus do? He doesn't take accountability. It's okay to say, you know what? We probably shouldn't have run that play to Kramer. Probably should have called a timeout and set up the defense to guard against the sidelines to give him that extra 15 yards. Looking at, I'll probably do that. It'll probably change. Take accountability. Isn't that your hits principle? I mean, you have your team doing it, but you're not. And to me, that's the problem. And there's a couple of people who are coming up, are popping off at the mouth now after this loss. Well, remember, in that 14-game losing streak, nothing negative came out of Hallis Hall. That was, tighter than a whale's blowhole. Nothing was getting out. No negative talk, no bad talk, nothing. But now, we got a couple people saying, things that make you go, But listen, let's take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome my mans in them, Ken Davis, on the other side of the break. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Ryan Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face. Ugly.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
On. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning at Sports Zone Chicago. Man, I'm excited to talk to my next guest. I'm fired up. It's been a minute, but I want to hear his take on it. And guys, you know how we do. He's the host of the Under Center podcast, good friend of the program, and beer stein aficionado, my man Kenneth Davis. What's up, Ken? KD's in the house, baby.
There'll be a lot more player shit going on if we listen to music like that regularly compared to what's out nowadays.
I'm telling you, man, I'm doing well. I'm doing well, bro. I'm doing well. Man, let's get right to it, man. You know, that was a tough one. A lot of people are talking about it, so let's get through it so we can move forward.
I don't know about that, Shorty. You brought the wrong brother on here. You know what? I'm gonna be positive for the most part, to a degree. I'll be positive.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot going on, man. And where do we start? Which way do we just spin the wheel and pick one? We'll start with Tyreek Stevenson. That's a low-hanging fruit. Well, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit, but let's talk with Tyreek Stevenson. Your thoughts on the whole situation where he's jawing, gets a personal foul earlier in the game for poking a dude in the face mask. It threw the face mask in his face. All right, then he's on the side. I saw on Twitter yesterday that before the play, he's getting water and a fan. I don't know if it had to be someone on the sideline, and they're like, "Man," he goes, "This is our house," and he's yapping back and forth. He's like, and Tyreek's like, "Well," he goes, "Bet your mortgage on it. Bet your mortgage payment." And the guy's like, "Oh, I bet." So they dap up. He's like, "Oh, you go," and he pointed at somebody. He goes, "You got this, right?" And then he's over there yapping at fans, Bears fans or Commander fans, doesn't matter. As the play is going on, your thought on it, on the whole Tyreek Stevenson situation.
There to a degree, I enjoy the fact that he plays up to the line. You know what I'm saying? Where he's pushing it if he needs a certain edge. But I think it just shows a lack of accountability, if we're really being honest, and growth. Because, okay, last year he got burned a lot because nobody was throwing Jalen's way. but we saw the potential in Tyreek. You can see, I see why they drafted him. You know, a big corner. You think about before he transferred out of Georgia, him being the star, and what you have to do in that system. He wanted to be a boundary cornerback. He's here playing boundary quarterback. You know, we have Gordon to play that nickel role here. The jawing during the play, that's a problem. You know, like that. There's a difference between, okay, you know what? I'd prefer if you didn't do that when you're talking about bet the mortgage, when you're talking about, of course, the last player doing something is going to be the one that gets a flag with putting his finger in a face mask. Not to say that wouldn't anger me, but I get that that's the style of player that you are, and you can't get us flags, though. That you can't do that again. That last part where, I mean, it's one thing to be jawing around prior to the play commencing. You're still jawing while the play is going down. That right there, you can't do that. Like you like, to me, and like talking to some of the people in the industry, it's like, where's the accountability in the locker room? Well, before we get to Flus, because there's a certain standard where players in the locker room police themselves.
Yep.
And even though you had to move off of him because of his foot, and I know some people didn't like him because he went through ups and downs here, it shows you what Bojack not being in that locker room could take place. Because somebody, particularly when we're talking about those defensive backs, was supposed to make sure this kid learned, all right, it's time for you to start maturing to a degree. With Flus, I was watching everything you said here. He should have been going at the end of last year. I mean, we all knew the best thing was to clear the deck. And it's so Chicago, where we're getting a new quarterback. The team has built a roster that looks like they can get to contention a lot quicker than we would have expected. But we're still holding on to something because we're afraid to find something new. One of my biggest fears with Matt Eberflus has always been, is the Bears' start to the season, is that a trend or is it an outlier? And every year it's been the trend. So I was expecting perhaps especially with the schedule this year, where it's as lopsided, I've said that several times joining you, as lopsided as the schedule was, you had to take advantage of these what seemed like victories at the beginning of the year, but knowing that there's parity within the NFL and teams you expect to beat will beat you on any given Sunday. But yet we've seen them forget, like everybody wanted DeAndre Swift gone, which to me was like, wait, what? They weren't running the rock? I'm talking to a running back. They weren't committed to busting that ass and being physical. You know, they weren't. And how can you go from the two prior seasons, the best running team in the league? Of course, now you had an exceptional quarterback athletically that helped exploit the run game because you basically had to spy Justin. So it allowed your running backs to basically play with a man off their ass, basically, because we got to watch what Justin is doing during RPOs, right? But still, it's one thing about this offensive line that we do know. Pass blocking is a question. Run blocking, they can do. They can shoot off the ball and get somebody. You brought in Shelton because of the scheme or what you thought he could do at the next level. You didn't bring him in to be his light ass to be a pass blocker. So for me, and it's the thing where Flus kind of gets away with this. You said you were going to be a CEO in both sides. Regardless, you decide when you're going to go for it. You decide to be like, nah, I don't like that play. I'm talking about things that happen on the offensive side of the ball, right? It still comes down to you regardless who the coordinator is, because he has to go through you if you like it or if you don't like it. But because of last year, the defense plays so well because he's an excellent defensive coordinator. Let's not take that away from him. He can call and feel what they need defensively. He can do that, right? But as far as the CEO, no. And it's also like players know, just to be honest. Like they know. It's not as secretive or whatever. There's questions to say that. You know, I've heard there's questions.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question.
This isn't even from this week. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this question. Is this too much on his plate then? Is it too much being a head coach, being a defensive coordinator, is it too much for him to handle?
No. Let's go to answer your question. Being a head coach is too much. So I don't know if you're leading to where you're saying, well, let's take defensive coaching away from him and things are going to be fine. No, they did. This was you said you can cook, right? It's like, all right, you running the restaurant, you're running the front of the house, right? but you were a great chef. The chef is stinking up the place back there, right? Doing all kinds of foul stuff that got him fired, right? And you can cook. That we need to make this money go back there and cook, and you cook the way you're supposed to. I'm not going to say go run the front of the house again. Like I'm because running the front of the house was a problem for you, right? So,
but he never got a chance to be just a head coach. Year one, you tore down the defense, so he had. I mean, there's really nothing. Last year was all right. Your defense, you're still in the middle of a 14-game losing streak because your defense was finding each other. You had a good end of the season, and this year, and then don't forget last year you had the scandal with the defensive coordinator and the running back coach and all that other stuff. All right, so he never really had a chance to just be a head coach. So he was head coach and defensive coordinator for the longest. Do you think it would be okay if he was given that just position as head coach?
Can Cal Shanahan basically do that? Like, think about guys who are head coaches but still Andy Reid, right? Andy Reid, how much of that I don't think they don't even acknowledge Nagy as the offensive coordinator. He's told and he implements what Andy wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're still saying, and okay, even going with that, Shawn, how good was the defense when he was the head coach? The defense before the defense coordinator last year wasn't playing lights out like they were when he became the DC. He wasn't even getting his defensive coordinator to do what he would have done as DC. So it gets to a point where, and here we get too close to something, we don't want to let it. I'm not saying he's not a good person. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
All of us have been in situations where, man, this may be a little bit too much for me. I've definitely been just the wave over me at a job with frustration. And I didn't know how to get up out of it. Right. The thing is this, how long has he done something for you to make you think I want to continue to go down this road? So and I don't think there's been enough equity built in for me to say we need him. I don't believe that, and it's hopefully, and I'm not saying that anything's going to happen, but hopefully Ryan Poles is honest with himself on two things. It's time for me to probably move off of my HC, and definitely it's time for us to move off of however the hell we scout no lineman, but that's a discussion for a different day. But as far as the HC, and he should have done it at the end of the year. Let's also not act like this wasn't some old Charlie Casserly or whoever. Flus got interviewed before Poles got interviewed. This wasn't Joe. I knew this guy, and one day I looked at him, I was like, me and you together one day, dog. It's time to bring in someone who I would prefer them being an offensive minded head coach. But if they're a great defensive head coach and they can find an offensive a coordinator, great. I just haven't seen it from Flus outside of being a defensive coordinator. And so you're telling me to put him back in something that he hasn't done well when we found out what he can do. Like, I know what you can do. I don't need to experiment with, can you do X again, because you couldn't do X. And to be honest with you, Shawn, we're not asking a lot from him. One, there's always going to be a problem, particularly with defensive coordinators with clock management, because they don't really have to do that. And he's shown those issues. I'm not even going to bludgeon him with that, because we've had it. Lovey, we had the same stuff with Lovey. And again, particularly when you're talking about DCs taking over as HCs. But the thing is this, the offense, he still decides if they're going or not. He still decides if this is the thing. I did not play professional sports. There are a lot of gentlemen in here that played sports at some level. All right. I remember when I first got into football, I was in the running back line, and they was like, nah, you can go play edge and some DT. But then one day at practice, they said, Ken, we want you to run the ball. I'm like, hell yeah. I've been waiting for this. I run off the guard between the tackle, right? The thing opens up like the Red Sea. Nobody wants any of this, Shawn. I'm running. You know what someone did? I don't even know who did it. They stuck their hand out and did this. Boop. Because guess what? I've been putting my hand down in a 3-point stance or a 4-point stance. You know what I haven't been doing? Like you saw people during the week, holding on to a damn football. You don't play game like you, Shawn. You know this. You know this. Where it's like, we about to do the fridge thing. No, we're not. There's a kid named Roshan Johnson back there. This is why we have his ass, right? Like, if push comes to shove, put a tight end back there. But for you to be in this, and again, if you're using him as a fullback, cool. But now you're going full on fridge football out here, and you didn't. And you didn't say hell no. No, you're not good enough to do that. You know how nice you got to be like throw in the offensive lineman and give them. You got to be nice when you're doing it. You have to have a grind against Bill Walsh, and you want to get him back for the infliction that he did for you prior seasons following Bears history. It's just these things where we want to be like, man, it's cool. It's not cool. So this is year one. None of us expected them to be contenders in year one, right? But the thing is, and how it looks, they're going to have to get another OC, because if this doesn't go right, and then it's going to be not just Caleb, but the whole entire offense learning from a new OC. Perhaps the defense would be the same because of the amount of money they put into those players, those linebackers, and into Sweat. So there probably would still remain in the 43, right?
You're going to have to find a coach who's willing to keep a 4-3.
You're not going to be like, Sweat, stand up. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't even make sense for you to do something like that, right? So, but still, now you didn't have to do this. You could have fumigated the house, cleaned out, like we cleaned out the whole house, but left that nasty couch over there because we comfortable with that cat. Granddad's love seat or the recliner, right? We left Granddad's recliner in there, and we know we should have threw Granddad's recliner out. And now the whole house is looking better. We painted. The decor is nice, but it's all thrown off because Granddad's love seat is still over there because we can't let go of Granddad's love seat. We let go of Granddad. It's time for the love seat to get the fuck out the house. And again, it's just the truth. Like it's like I don't get it. I'm just explain to me, because I don't. We all want what's best for this team. Have you seen anything to tell you that he's a Super Bowl head coach during the time frame that he's been here as the Bears head coach, Shawn?
The only thing that had me sticking up for him was the fact that he didn't lose the locker room during that 14-game losing streak, and now he's starting to lose that locker room. All right, now he's starting to lose that locker room, and that's where my allegiance shifts. All right, when you got stuff like this going on,
it's going to be important that we come back, tomorrow and then throughout next week and look at the positives, look at the negatives of, for us offensively, how we started slow and those things and get those things corrected. But to obsess over the result of what happened, I think it's just a little immature and understandable at the moment. But there's a lot that we can get better at.
I'm sure you already got to this, but how do you explain the first 3 quarters on offense?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't good. I'll tell you that. And I thought they were covering well, and we weren't being efficient enough on first and second down, and a few penalties set us back there. So again, that is a hurdle that we got to get better at. We haven't done too well in weeks past of that, so we got to be better there. But like I said, I still thought the response at the end of the game was really good, and that's the NFL. I think. Obviously we scored a lot of points the past couple of weeks, 30 plus or whatever it was, but I don't think that's the reality of the NFL week to week, and you're going to have games like this where you're going against good teams, and to see us battle back down a couple scores and take the lead with 20 seconds left or whatever it was, I think is a big positive. More.
He also got that video clip courtesy of CHGO, but he also said in there that in practice, he talked about Tyreek, where he said there's got to be some accountability, some respect for the game. And that was one of the things that I said the last couple of weeks when they were playing these busters. I said, here's a big thing, a test for Eberflus. If you give these teams the respect that they deserve, you'll blow them out. I said, if you don't give these buster teams the respect they deserve, they're going to stay in the game and they may beat you. I think that they didn't give this team the respect that they deserved. And I know Tyreek Stevenson didn't give the respect that this team deserved because he thought they'd won. What do you do as him? Is he benched for a quarter, a half, not dressed? Are you ready for the game? What would you do? Because you're the coach. 52 other guys are watching you. What's going to happen? Because other guys want to pop off too, want to act the fool. What do you do as a head coach?
He's either benched or he's not dressing. And it would be a half. It starts at a half. It starts either he's not playing the first half or he's not dressing. And again, to be honest, this is cutting off your nose to spite your face because you need him out there. You need him. He's an improving cornerback. We see how athletically he's ridiculous. All right, like his innate skill.
He got up over everybody.
Yeah, like athletically he's ridiculous. So this isn't like just a F him, forget, but this is like everything that Flus has told us, and okay, I'll bring back that. Everything that Flus has told us is about how to bring this player along, basically, or these players along. Now, and it could be different. But remember last year, it was a situation where we can't bring in Jalen Carter because we're not ready to take on that type of player's personality. And I'm getting off of my Jalen Carter soapbox. But point being, a while I'm bringing it up is the fact that you said character was an issue. So why wasn't character an issue here? Is it because he was drafted lower, which it could be, or you felt like because you had Terrell Smith that you may have also had somebody else if it didn't work out, either or whatever. Regardless, there had to be a plan on. You knew from Georgia and when he transferred there were issues, right? There had to be a plan on when we get him in our house. How are we going to help this young man mature? Now, it's just his second year, and we're just now in the second quarter of his second year in the NFL. So there could be still bumps. This isn't to throw out the baby in the bathwater type of scenario, but you need to send a message to that locker room. You heard what DJ said after that. There needs to be a message sent like, cut this shit out. Like, y'all not that nice. Like, you haven't, on paper, y'all are sweet. But we're talking about wins and losses, dog, y'all are negative. If we look at the totality of this, I don't even have to go back through the third 3 years. Let's go back to last season. All right. Like, dude, you're not them just yet. And you're not even them in this division. I was on here and people telling me, man, forget the Vikings and all that. And I was like, the Vikings won 7 games last year. Y'all better act like they're not going to be without a quarterback and the best receiver. And look at what the Vikings are doing right now. Right? All that Vikings ain't gonna be shit. All right, we'll see. Right? Like, dude, they're not that good, and they need to be taken down. And I like what you just said when you said that they didn't have respect. Your rookie quarterback is facing a guy that I would have damn near drafted if I didn't think he was gonna get hurt. The only thing that always takes Jaden Daniels that knocked him off of my board. I remember talking to somebody, a draft analyst last year. And I said, do you look at the fact that towards the end of the season prior to the Heisman season at LSU, he started improving and he took off last year. And of course, he had 2 great receivers last year at LSU. Do you look at that as a hindrance because you haven't had the amount of time where you could assess, for instance, where Caleb had kind of a down year, quote unquote, when you look at what his Heisman year was the year prior, but still you've had more of time to look at Caleb from what he did taking over starting Oklahoma compared to when out in Arizona, when Jaden's in Arizona. And he was like, no, I look at it as a plus. And the thing for me, and you've seen it this year with Jaden, is I've seen him get sandwiched 2 games in a row 3 games ago where I'm like, oh, and that's the only reason I've always been like, I would take Caleb over him because I don't know how long that kid's going to be able to play with that. I'm saying that because he's been nice. He's coming to the league and Jaden Daniels has been nice. If me and Shawn are playing basketball, right? And it's a guy, Shawn went to St. Rita. It's some guy from Fenwick or Mark Carmel that Shawn and this dude been going back at it for years, right? And Shawn like, it's a 2-man game. We're going to play him. I'm not going to show up and be on bullshit because I know it's Shawn's rival game. Let's do this, right? So you've seen the offense that the Commanders are doing. The Commanders are playing better than anyone thought they've been playing. Jaden Daniels serious numbers all year. So how can you expect that we just gonna walk into Washington and ain't gonna be a dog? And the dog, we're acting like it wasn't just 6 points. 6 or 7. 6 or 5 points. You're acting like we're about 14. Like, look, if we still would have ripped Ty a new one, but if they up by double digits, it'd be like, damn man, you shouldn't have messed it up. And some people would have been like, you messed up my betting line, maybe, or something like that. But dog, the game was still at hand. Like, that's where it's like, what are we doing and who the fuck do y'all think y'all are while you're doing it? Again, I think the locker room is a good locker room. I think that there's something just not right. And it's like,
I'll tell you what it is.
You could keep playing around if you want to, but it's going to get worse if you don't cut off this snake and you go into next year thinking we can remedy this with the same person running the team as far as the AC, in my opinion, Shawn.
I'll tell you what it is. Let me ask you a question. This will probably surmise it. Why do you feel comfortable enough doing that? Because I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you think anyone on the 85 Bears, anyone on the 2000 Ravens, anyone on the 86 Giants would have done that? You know what I mean? Because there'd have been serious. There literally would have been a fight. The fact that there's nobody in there that went up there and Olin Kreutz would have knocked the hell out of him. He even said it on the radio. He goes, "We all know what would happen if I was there." So that tells you what's going on in the locker room. That tells you what's going on in the locker room. That it's okay. All right, Sweat. I understand you just got here a little while ago, but you just got that money, Papa. With great contracts come great responsibility. Jalen Johnson, with great contracts come great responsibility. You need to go up there and be like, listen, and get up in his face. This is how football players talk. Get in his face, like, what the fuck were you doing, bro? And if it has to come to blows or people have to get separated, then let it come to that. But there has to be in no uncertain terms that you screwed up and it can't happen. All the championship teams that I played on and coached, we have players in the locker room on the team that would do that. They come out to you, be like, "What the hell were you doing?" And so this is why I think that Eberflus has got to say, look, he's got to come out, because the one thing that I'm really pissed about is that he hasn't taken accountability. I was saying that right before you came on. If he come out and if he says, you know what, he goes, we decided that Tyreek's not going to be not going to dress this week. His behavior is uncalled for, and you know what, he's going to learn from this. He's going to grow from this, but he's not playing this week. You come out and say that, you just send shockwave to the locker room, like, oh, this dude does got balls.
Okay, two or three things here. What if you brought in players who are lead by example guys? And one thing, to your point, though, when someone steps outside of their character, you kind of question is that if they're being authentically themselves. So, yeah, those players could do that. But if that's not who they are, it falls on the coaching staff and the coaching staff to do it themselves. But also, it falls on the general manager to know that you need to have that style of player somewhere on that roster that's going to be that guy in the locker room to police that locker room. So
this thing is bigger than Nino Brown.
Yeah, you wanted a room full of church mice. You're gonna have to get a Rockwaller in there.
James Carter has character. I don't know if we have the locker room. Maybe you need that type of luck.
Yeah, so because if it's nothing worse than the quiet guy, and there's a difference from a quiet guy and you like don't mess with him compared to a quiet guy and like this really ain't you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a difference between that. So I think that could be part of the problem. You mentioned accountability. Accountability with that person runs really, really, really the other way from everything that I've heard. That's a big problem. Like, seriously, that's a huge, huge problem.
That person you're talking about, Coach Eberflus or Tyreek
that person right there, that person. No, I'm not talking about Tyreek Stevenson.
Oh, okay.
All right. And it wouldn't even matter because he's too young. Like, he's just I'm not dissing him. He's a cornerback. You know what I'm saying? Like, he shouldn't be able to permeate through the locker room. That would be even a bigger issue with everybody from the top to the players in there if he was the bad apple was ruining stuff. And I'm not saying he's a bad apple. He's just immature. He needs to mature. But accountability is a problem with Flus. And it just gets back to the point of I've always been a person to talk about the losing streak and not losing the team. But let's also add in a couple of factors into that. Everybody and their mama was playing for a check because one, the team was being ripped down, and you think about you brought DJ here. What's DJ gonna do? Because he was signed to 4 years when you got him. They gave him an extension. He had like 3 years on that bad boy, and it doesn't make sense for him to come to Chicago and start complaining. People are gonna change on you, and you're a wide receiver, so people ready to flip on you anyway and call you a diva if you do something like that anyway. So to a degree, you couldn't really outward facing say something that would cost you your job or the ability to remain getting your check here in Chicago. Now you look at, you brought in more people, and it's one of those things like you hear like Philadelphia 76ers players like Andre Iguodala talk about when he got traded from the 76ers and went to Denver, how they had like a training facility, a practice facility, and how it's the 76ers, how they was at like the college or whatever. Point being, why I'm bringing it up, you bring in more people that's looking around him like, wait, what y'all? Why y'all do that? Like with that, and from winning situations where this doesn't make as much sense. And now you've raised the expectation level of the players that's been here because of the amount of talent that you've added to this roster. And they're seeing you're not making it homogenous. You're not bringing all of this together properly. And look, these are pros. Like we talk about athletes like they're not intelligent at their craft. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all on the outside looking in like they're dumb as they know if the head we all know at your job if the person above you know what the fuck they talking about.
Yeah. Right?
If you've been there for it in a minute, you'd be like, man, you don't even know that the flux capacitor is supposed to be hooked up to the whatchamacallit. And so they know where it's just like, you know what, the rubber isn't necessarily meeting the road here. And it's to me, and again, I'm happy right now that I'm not like really talking because man, it was going to me and Josh be texting, be like, boy, it really would have went left right here. Because, dog, to be honest with you, and it wasn't something that you see me do a lot. It has to change. It's just the truth of the matter. It has to change. If you want what you really want, or we can be, I don't even want to make this a Chicago thing. We can be fanatics and just expect something different from already seeing what's taking place. Or we can be like, you know what? Let's move off of this. This would be different if you have like the amount of years that Lovey was here, even though I think Lovey had run his course with the amount of times of not making the playoffs. This would have been different with any coach who had shown us. Let's even look at what the Bulls when Scott Skiles was here. Scott Skiles is only amount, or Thibs, right? There's only amount of time that those coaches are going to burn the players out from being hard asses, right? But though we saw them change regimes or change the style, the mentality of a player,
right.
We saw them change it from a losing mentality to a winning mentality. I haven't seen Flus do something to where he's built equity where I'm like, we need him outside of being a really good defensive coordinator. He's a pretty good defensive coordinator, but you can get a good defensive coordinator, particularly when he's head coaching the team. That it doesn't make sense, and it also impacts the offense because he's supposed to be making sure, being that he's the HC, the offense is doing what the fuck he thinks. Dog, he's a defensive coordinator. He doesn't know to run the fucking rock. Like, dog, this is fundamental football. I know I'm talking to you and I'm talking to everybody in the chat. This is fundamental football, and it's proven is what you can do. And every year since you've been the head coach, y'all have to find the run game. It makes no sense. And we're talking like maintaining you when you don't know to run the rock. Why'd you draft Roschon last year? Why'd you bring in Swift? You don't run just West Coast 24/7 where you're getting Swift in space and you're using that as an extended run play. You got to get him out there by the tackle and spread that D-line open to give him some space. He's not necessarily a between the tackles guy, but you know what you can get out of him and what you need to do. What was the purpose of having this rookie quarterback and being like, what we're going to do? We're going to force too much shit on him. Dog, why? Here's a spoonful. Here goes another. Here goes some more. Particularly when Keenan Allen was gone, you're in 11 all day long with the underside wide receiver. And I think one thing that we'll talk about when you're in 11 a lot, them wide receivers got to be blocking, baby. And you got DeAndre Carter out here with on a DB that's 6 feet, 6'1", and he all of maybe 5'9". Like, dog, if you don't put two effing tight ends in this bad boy real quick, like just. Dude, this is not kidding. The great X and O philosophy. This is fundamental football that you're supposed to know to take care of what you got. You got all these gifts in the basket, and you don't know how to start stacking them up. Like, that's to where it's frustrating. So you're saying next year, and maybe next year is not as bad, but I had to wait 4 years for you maybe to get it right. I'm out. Like, you only got to burn me so many times, Shawn. All right? You only got to get so many chances to let me know. And it doesn't mean me and you can't be cool, cordial, or anything like that. I'm not that type of person. If you didn't hurt me, spill blood, steal from me, or hurt my family, we can be cordial. I could be like, what's up? And we can just keep it moving. But I don't have to make you an integral part of my future. And that's the thing with me, where it's just like, dude, this isn't working. And now you've built up this roster, and he hasn't shown enough for you to be like, I gotta hold on to him because he's gonna make me regret it. Dog, if he makes you regret it, so what? I will sit here and be like, I was with you. We was wrong. Guess what? He's a Super Bowl head coach. I was wrong. I have no problem with admitting when I'm wrong at times. I think that's the problem with people in general. None of us can be right all the damn time. Let go. Let go, release. You're not gonna be right. Dog, this dude right now, and maybe he'll get another chance. He's going to go somewhere and be a hella defensive coordinator. I'll tell you that right now. And he's probably going to get another chance to be a head coach because somebody that he's DCing for is probably going to get fired, and him already having the opportunity to be a head coach, they're going to promote him. That's also a problem with Ryan Poles in this roster. There's no reason that Ryan Poles should not have hired someone who had head coaching experience in the past and brought them in just in case this shit wasn't going right. That's just the truth of the matter. Like that, there's just too much water under the bridge to act like, man, I don't want to do that too. No, you need to cover your ass, all right? Because this dude has let you know, So
he's done it on the sides, on the offensive and defense. He brought Washington in. All right, we have a former defensive coordinator. He's brought Thomas Brown in. I know. I said, but he's done that on the side, on either side of the ball. With Washington as defensive coordinator and Thomas Brown as the offensive coordinator in case Shane Waldron wants to leave. So I see your point, but the biggest thing
I mean, if case during this, okay, this is what I'm saying. Let's just say, and again, I don't think the crisis button will be hit, but what happened if during the season was going left and you had to replace Flus? You had nobody with head coaching experience that they brought in, is what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the coordinators. I'm saying in case the only thing that remained from the beginning of this regime on the coaching staff has basically been Flus. Simo, the DB coach, and the wide receiver coach. But it's basically been him. And just in case, it is going left and we can get on moving on and perhaps getting someone different in the front face and could help, you should have set yourself up for that because he hadn't done enough to be like, nah, we don't want to do that to him. He hadn't. He gets props. But do you think they're going to make it? You think they're going to make a change in the middle of the season? No, they can't. They don't have anybody. They don't have anybody that will. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it was going to happen. You should have had a contingency plan in effect.
You don't think Washington's going to be that dude?
I don't. I wouldn't. He has no head coaching experience. I think this is the problem. You know what? I think we're kind of talking around each other. The excuse on why you wouldn't do it is because they don't have HC experience, and that's what I think. I'm interested in what Washington can do as a DC. Not saying in the future he can't be a head coach. I don't know, but the thing is now your excuse will be, well, we didn't have anybody that kind of knew X, Y, and Z. And again, the Bears aren't traditionally a team at all that gets rid of someone during the year. So I get your point in that, but you still make contingency plans. That's just the truth of the matter, just in case, because they gave him props for cleaning up his own shit. You can't go in my bathroom with explosive diarrhea, right? And it gets all over the place. And then you clean it up and you like, man, ain't I special? No, you exploded all over you were disrespectful, actually, because you should have did that someplace else, right? Like, because it's still there. Like, it's clean, but like it's still there. Like, that's just, again.
That's why you go into the dominant or the jewel.
Yes. Any place, but yes, you go there. But you went to in my house knowing how your guts was moving and what was going to happen. You lived on this planet enough to know that was going to be messy, and you still brought it here. So I'm not going to give you props for fixing what you did. I'm not like, no, I'm not going to pay you to fix my car. You don't do it right, and I keep taking it back to you, and then on the fifth time, you actually get it right. So then I'm supposed to be like, man, he's a great mechanic. No, he's not a great mechanic. I'm letting him experiment with my shit. So, like, that's where it's just like, I haven't seen it. And I haven't seen it one, and this is why I've been telling you I didn't want to talk Bears, because I've been really happy lately. I've been really happy, man. Like, I have been really happy. But also, Shawn, just from really now getting more people telling me it ain't going right, bro. But it's not
Definitely isn't,
going right.
because it's affecting the offense too. Because think about it. Think of what they stole or what they snatched from Caleb. They snatched from Caleb his first big time comeback win.
Yep.
And
after having a bad game.
Yes.
After having a bad game, which is
those are the things that great quarterbacks do. You play shit for 3.5 quarters.
Yep.
And your team keeps you in there. Your defense keeps you in there, and they give you a chance. And what do they say? Even what did Caleb say? Hey, there are going to be times when we're going to need you to be special. Well, here's one of those times. The defense kept him in. Was it 4 field goals, 3 field goals, 4 field goals? They held him to, and he was able to come at 4 because it was 12. 4 field goals.
It's 4 because I have my fantasy team. It was 4. It missed that one. I guess who else I had him? Jaden Daniels. Go ahead, please.
That's neither here nor there.
It's neither here nor there.
And you said even Poles and Caleb said it. Like, there'll be times where, let me lean on these guys, and then when it's time to be special, go be special. He was special. He took you down, scored with 25 seconds. He should have been Larry Bird. I'm like, damn, I left too much time on the clock. He should, you know what I mean? Like, score. I mean, you can't. That is a huge moment for a quarterback, for an offense, for a team. When you come back and you played like shit and you did not do anything to deserve that victory, but you still got it.
You stole the game.
They stole that from him. You stole that moment from him, and you stole that moment, as I said, from the team, the offense, and from him. Him most importantly, because if he has that confidence, man, what this kid can do. Because it's frustrating. That to me, that was huge that's stealing that. I want this kid to get confidence. We all know who I was a Justin guy, but Caleb's our quarterback now. And I want him to have confidence. I want him to be good. I want him to be what everyone said he could be. And you stole that from him. And that's the thing that's frustrating. And that's why I said my faith in Eberflus is going quickly.
I mean, it should. I don't want to be totally murky dismal. He's not terrible, but he's not special. Is the thing. Yeah. And so that's where there's no reason where it's like we need him. No, we don't. Let's even say this with the Tyreek Stevenson situation. If one of Eberflus's strength is going to be, hey guys, I won't throw you under the bus, right? Publicly. He can still show frustration and say, you know what, we're going to remedy this and we're going to solve this issue. To let everyone know this is bothering me. We are going to talk to the player about this, and that there's something to it. But to act like it was nothing and just whatever, dude, it's just, man, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see it. And the problem is it's too early. Like, who wants to spend, it's not even the halfway point of the season. Who wants to sit there and think about you need a new head coach and you got this is the same way where we were looking at the whole number 1 pick thing last year. And it took away from the season, basically. Not saying the season was great, because we knew what the future was going to be. And that's how it looks again, where we could have just done this year. Like this should have been taken care of this year. Like that's where it's frustrating, because that one thing that I think Ryan Poles is a really good general manager. I do think he has flaws, and I've mentioned offensive line. He and Heaney Cunningham have to let someone else do that. You have to admit it and say, you know what, so-and-so, you're going to be this, or we're going to do this. We're going to flip totally how we do this. But also trying to prove yourself right. You look at the Velus stuff. What was the point of holding on to Velus, basically? Trying to show I was right in this situation. And the same thing applies with Flus, where it's like, and I could say this, I don't know how much leeway he has as far as getting rid of his head coach, with ownership. And also I think what we found out like last year, Flus has an extension on there. So you're paying him and somebody else that you will be bringing in. But Flus hadn't done enough to where you're going to be like, I got to hold on to him because he took over for DC, because he brought in a guy with him. Let's not forget that too. That was his guy. That wasn't someone where they did a coordinator search, right? And it was like, hey, we're going to partner you with him. No. Hey, buddy, me and you going to go to Chicago and you're going to be the defensive coordinator. That was that situation. So when we're talking about just evaluating character and people that you don't know. And again, that can happen to anybody. You may not know something about one of your co-workers / friends or whatever that can pop out on you. It can happen to anybody, but that still is a demerit. You know, like truthfully, it still is. It's a demerit. You know what I'm saying? Because we living in the real. Like this is the real world. This isn't tiddlywinks. Let's all be buddies. This is like, yo, I'm trying to feed my family, and I may have to move. Like this is real life shit. So like you can't, like, it's not even just from the coaches. It affects the players. It affects the other people that take care of the players. It affects the general manager. It affects a lot of people if you fucking around. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it's like when we just sit here acting like, man, it's cool that you kind of fucking around. It's not really cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not really cool.
Did you have demerits? Did you get demerits in high school? Because you mentioned demerits. I haven't heard demerits since high school.
I believe we had to. So at some point, I had to have gotten them. I know it popped into my head. It just popped into my head.
That's funny because I was thinking like, oh,
you had to come up with different things when you spitting.
Right, and it's funny because it reminded me of oh man, teachers threaten you. You're gonna get the demerit. I'm like, all right. No, sorry. All right, I'll stop acting a fool. A demerit.
Right.
So how do you feel about the rumors, bro? How do you feel about the rumors? OG Bobby Ben Johnson. Rumors had it from Albert Breer. He told Cap and Jay Hood that that was the job he wanted, Albert Breer told those guys, ESPN, that the Chicago job was the one he wanted. And remember, I was saying, man, I hope they get rid of Ben Johnson.
Don't tease me. So okay, anybody that's followed me for the last few years, you know that I've always questioned Jared Goff. And Jared Goff, I'm going to apologize to you. This is definitely some of you. But my question has always been, I want to see Jared Goff when Ben Johnson is gone. I think Jared Goff will still be a pretty good quarterback when Ben Johnson goes on to become a head coach. There's no doubt, and I've been on this. I've been Ben Johnson, Josh was Bobby Slowick. It was no doubt Ben Johnson should have been the head coach here. The only question would be the same issue that you had with Flus. I don't know if being a coordinator, can you go for being a head coach? But I was willing, when you look at what Ben Johnson's been able to do, to give him that opportunity. You were bringing in a rookie quarterback who seems like, who has a great mind and wants to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, so bringing in someone who could feed that mind made a lot of sense. I would do it. Only problem is now you got to go through everyone learning when you could have done this last year. So like that, I don't like, I really wonder again with that. My question is how did he want it, but did he decide after how they lost in the playoffs? Because I felt like how Detroit lost made Ben Johnson
was a big reason.
Was the big reason he returned. He came back because it was like we too close to finishing this. So let's do this and then I can go. Plus, also Ben Johnson is coached so well he can pick his spot. So if I don't like a spot, I don't have to pop out this year because somebody's gonna come for me regardless. Yeah, I can wait. He's that, like, he doesn't have to be hot, like, because some guys are hot and they know they're not who they really are supposed to be. And some guys are hot and they are that person and they jump. But he knows who he is and what he can do. So that, because to me, it made perfect. One, you would have hurt the Lions, right?
Big time.
You also know what their scheme is like. Even if they brought in another OC, they probably wouldn't just dramatically, totally rip off the whole scheme, right? Particularly, I mean, they could, but still, some aspects will remain. You would know. It may have different verbiage, but some aspect would remain of what they were running, right? So it would have benefited you to hinder the Lions by going after. Like, that's who I wanted. So you preach to the choir when you're saying that. It just made too much sense. If you're telling me I got the number one pick, he's going to be a quarterback, my head coach has bungled, and then he straightened the ship that he fucked up. Like, dog, you put a hole in this. So you hit an iceberg, and the bitch went halfway down. Luckily, you patched the hole up before it dropped to the bottom of the sea. But I'm going to be like, man, you the guy. No, I'm going to be like, this mug hits icebergs. So it made more sense just to go ahead.
Piece of ice, don't hit it.
That thing, I left. It made more sense, though. So that again,
what
man,
happens
it's
moving forward then?
Go ahead,
If
Tom.
you do get, and guys, we're joined by Ken Davis, the host of the Undercenter podcast, Talking Bears football with your guy, the SuperBack here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. So what do you do if you decide to let go of Flus, okay, and you bring Ben Johnson here? What about the coaching staff? Because the defense is nice.
Waldron's gone.
Waldron's gone, of course.
But you don't have to get rid of Eric Washington. Like I don't think it has to be the clear out the house. If you feel that Washington has implemented enough of himself on the defensive side and has his finger on his defense, leave him there. Because we opened up with you're gonna stay in a 4-3 anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think like when we're saying this, because I see a lot of people like I'm not saying get rid of Washington by any means. If you have a nice coordinator or a guy that seems like he can be a nice coordinator, keep him. We don't have to search for him or whatever, particularly as long as him and the head coach can see eye to eye. Now that could be an issue, and I'm not saying they can't, but if they can see eye to eye and work with one another, no, Washington can remain here. But you already see offensively this Shane Waldron thing isn't clicking the way it's supposed to click. Like, let's be honest with it. It's not clicking. Now, look, this last game with the Commanders, you got to put a lot of Caleb being off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to just be like, where the quarterback is missing people and it's the coordinator's fault automatically, and he's just missing people. I'm not gonna do that. That wouldn't be fair. I would be dishonest if I sat here and did that. But it still doesn't seem to be what we think. But also it could be where this is still a young quarterback. But also, dog, there's not enough time to throw the damn rock. Like if we like it's like you bring in another guy that can't block nobody for a guy who we've been waiting on Braxton Jones to take another step. Dog, I have been one of the presidents of the Tevin fan clubs. I have stood on and stomped for Tevin. I don't think they can have 3 to 4 open spots on the O-line after this year. But if they didn't want to sign him, or if they can't come to grips on decent money, I get it. Like it's just at some point, regardless of
dog.
Yeah, that right. But even if I like this player, I have to understand if he's not living up to his potential, and or if they, like you said, availability is the key. You know what I'm saying? So I can admit I'm wrong. I thought this player was going to end up being this. I hoped that they could be healthy. That's still been an issue, but there's not enough time to throw the ball, and no quarterback that has played for the Bears the last since maybe 2019 when they shuffled the line and got those 6 wins at the end of the year. Has been able to end the upright. I guess some of Mitch had some time. He had a little bit of time early on to throw the ball or whatever. But for the most part, the Bears' offensive line when it comes to pass pro has been close to trash, if not trash, for like 4 to 5 years. You know, that's the truth. You know, it hasn't been good. And that's what another reason that angers me that they haven't been running. They started running the ball a few weeks ago, but they hadn't been running the ball when you're bad in pass pro. It's like, but it's some teams that are bad at both. You know what I'm saying? It's like we just fucked. You know what I'm saying? But you actually can do one, and you've shown to do it well in the past. But you're trying to prove that you're sophisticated through the air, and I'm trying to show you how smart I am through the air. That's one reason I like Kyle Shanahan. Because Kyle Shanahan going to show you sexy run packages too with all the other stuff that he can do. I'm not saying that he is impervious or whatever. He hasn't won a Super Bowl. But still, I could see why, case in point, mention that I'm not going to hold on to Kyle Shanahan. If you get what I'm like, I'm be like, you know, Kyle, I'm tired of you losing the big one, but your quarterback did blow his arm out in a crazy fashion against the Eagles. And, you know, like, I'm going to make excuses to hold on to Kyle Shanahan. That's what I'm talking about. When you have him, we make excuses to hold on to him. You know what I'm saying? Like when you had Joe Madden with the Cubs, and it was, man, Madden almost lost the World Series, but still they won it. And you still thought about and you still thought about all the good stuff he can do. So it was like, let's keep rocking out, right? He hasn't done something where I'm like, yo, but Shuddy did this. Like that, he hasn't done something. So for me, again, and I hope the next time I come on, this isn't, you know, the majority of the conversation, because I don't even know if this is a good discussion because it's not going to happen. And it's just doing this week after week after week it's not the vibe that I want to present when someone asks me to join their show. But it's just frustrating, and it aggravates me because this roster's too good when it comes to running and defense for them not to do both. They defend well, but not to what helps a defense: time on the clock, possession time, them off the field, running the rock, also setting up play action and everything else, and also wearing down the opposing team's defense because you rocking their shit, getting off the ball and imposing and whooping on their ass. And the fact that a defensive coordinator isn't getting off the bus with that doctrine, you know what I'm saying? Like, we getting off the bus like, dog, we gonna get physical on these MFs. That's like, especially when you can do it. Like, it'd be different if you a finesse team and you saying that, and it's like, you talking crazy. No, y'all can actually do that. So why do you have the oldest run blocking, pass blocking tight end in the league? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the purpose of Mercedes Lewis being here if you're not gonna unleash what he can do? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, let's. So that to me is where it's like, you know what? This dude does not learn from his lessons. Like, that's the real thing. Like, this guy is not learning from the mistakes he's done in the past, and he still believes that he can win by still committing the same mistakes, which, again, we know is the definition of insanity. All right, to expect something different doing the exact same thing. So for me,
but what about
I'm out.
I'm a little annoyed with Shane because he's made me look bad. All right, because he was remember I kept saying
he made all of us. He made all of us
the
look
best
bad.
acquisition this offseason. But he adapted. He adapted, and I'm not ready to throw him out yet. You did just have 2 games where you scored 35 touchdowns, 35 points, 5 offensive touchdowns, 2 consecutive weeks. And I understand it wasn't against top tier defenses, but it was against NFL teams. And I think, I'll give him one pass with the side eye. Like, okay, maybe he had a bad week. All right, and if they get back on track, I'll be happy because I like what he's done with Caleb. To me, dude, tell me that Cole Kmet touchdown wasn't something that got you, dude. I got a chubby off of that one. I'm like, screen left, fake screen right, down the middle, and then Cole Kmet trucked the dude. And dude, I got so excited. I'm like, this is what I want to see. That is like, I was so fired up. So so he gained some length on his leash. All right, because so I want to see how he responds this week.
Yeah, we have to give him this. He's gonna get the season regardless. Shane Waldron. I was a person that was cool with them hiring him. He was a guy that had done the job before. You look at the project. You look at Geno Smith, and some of that we also got to give just props to Geno Smith for turning his career around from being a bust to being a good quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good quarterback. Like, you look at the yards, he's a good quarterback. So initially, the fact that the players said, you heard Mercedes Lewis come out and said, basically we can all just be men up in here. You don't have to tiptoe around us. And now, look, it may take some people some time in a new environment to know and that to kind of get themselves to the comfort factor where they can just shoot shit straight. You know what I'm saying? But still, to me, I would think that when you are taking on a job and there is tape and video, and your job is to study film, and you see what the staff that you had did well, you would make sure to incorporate that in your plans, particularly when you're trying to ease in a rookie quarterback. But again, it was a mistake, and I'm willing to give him a pass to learn from it. I haven't seen enough to where I'm like, if they move off of him, he needs to remain. If they move off of Flus, that he has to remain. I'm not to that degree yet. But look, I'll say this: it'd be great. I would love to have an issue where at the end of the year, it's like, damn, man, I don't know if we want Waldron to leave. And it may hamstring him, even though a real grown man do grown shit, and you got to cut bait. You got to cut bait. I would love that to happen. I'm fine if this team plays well enough to where they have a winning record at the end of the year, and it'll be hard to get rid of them. I still think they should be honest with themselves and say, all right, this may be the person to take us from A to B, but we may need somebody to take us from B to C. And that's just, I think anybody in a competitive environment in sports or anything, you always have to ask yourself that. You know, that there's the saying in corporate America, if you're not in the meeting, you're on the menu. And, you know, that's for Warren, Poles, and Cunningham to be like, yo, do we see to get us there? Is the head coach a decisive influence on getting us to X, which would be a Super Bowl? Do we think he is that guy where it's like we couldn't have done that without him? And if he's not, you probably should start looking for someone that's closer to that player, that person.
I think that's probably the best way to analyze it. You know, I think that's the best. Is this guy going to lead us to the confetti party? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And if he's not, you know, and that's the, who will be, because you can still get some good coordinators, but who's that guy? Because you got to command 53 men and a coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
You got to command those men. All right. And he's done a decent job to this point, commanding the men. Some bad on-field decisions hurt. Okay. But now that the locker room is, people are starting chirping in the locker room about, you know, we could, you know, Jalen Johnson, we should have called, I think we should have called a timeout, blah, 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 blah. And then Cole Kmet or Jalen Johnson saying we don't run through, we don't go over stuff in practice. We don't, we gloss over mistakes. Like they won't re-rep something. Because in today's NFL, it's like, give me how many reps? How many reps? I got to get through this script. I remember in college, we had a script.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got to get through these 25 plays. You mess up, all right, we'll do it again. We'll get it later. We'll watch it in film. No, you stop and you go back over it until you get it right. And if you don't get through it, well, guess what? Then we got to be better tomorrow. And that says a lot about the coaching staff. You know, Cole Kmet talking about the respect of the game. There's a lot. They're starting to see some you know, no pun intended, or any, you know, bad thing. But there's some chinks in that armor now, and it's really they're starting to show, and cracks in the windshield. That's not a good thing.
I'll end with this: accountability is a humongous issue at Hollis Hall.
Yeah. Just come out and say, you know what? Even if you don't got to be that direct to say, hey, you know what? We're going to handle it internally, and he's going to learn his lesson. End of story. That puts me at ease. Like, okay, so now I want to see what you're going to do. And if you and it doesn't have to be a big promotion and pound that thing. That's unacceptable. It doesn't have to be that thing. You know, he's gonna. You know, we'll handle it internally. And when he's not dressed and he doesn't travel with the team next week, we know statement made. Then you're like, as someone on the outside, like, okay, cool. That's accountability. Okay, good. Will he do it? That, my friend, is another question. Ken, great stuff, buddy, man. I love having you on. You know I love you, Papa. Do me a favor, though. Let everybody know where they can find you and your work online.
That's Davis right now. Is where you can find me at. Probably I'm going to do some independent stuff and probably be back on some platform sooner or later, but I'm about to start. I've been enjoying my break. This has been a sweet little break. Not letting this like really get me angry, and I kind of needed just to be like, you know what? That's over there. Let me relax. But I think I'm about to pop back out. Unfortunately, I want to say fortunately. I always enjoy it. But Mondo, definitely tell the wife I said what's up, and it's your son. But anyway, listen, you're my guy. Tell your mom I said what's up when you pick her up. Everybody in the chat, appreciate you all. You make me smile, and I enjoy that. Listen, they're a good team. They may not be as good as what we hope they're going to be, but they're not trash. They're far from trash, and they definitely have building blocks to be a really good team moving forward. But this is one thing I said on here plenty of times. This is the toughest division in the NFC, you know, and I told you all that the Vikings weren't going to be chumps this year. I said it, and it was like, get the fuck out of here. They look at them. And so it's just one of those things, man. But everybody be safe. You know, take care, and I'll probably holler at y'all in a few weeks or whatever. But appreciate
Thanks,
you, Shawn.
buddy. All right, bro. Guys, that's Ken Davis. Man, great stuff. Talking Bears football. Guys, we got to bounce. I got to go pick up the warden from CrossFit. Guys, have a phenomenal day. It's going to be another 80-degree day here in and around Chicagoland area. So enjoy it. Probably going to be the last 80-degree day of the year. So enjoy it. And you know how I always say, do me a favor. Let your loved ones know you love them. All right? So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Have a phenomenal day. I'm going to replay this tonight at 6 o'clock. And you know what? Your boy is out.